Baseball's back and the games are longer than ever. This is Brooklyn versus MLB Pace of Play.
Go Bridgeside!
Welcome to another edition of Brooklyn versus. I'm Boo, that's DB, Chris the Analyst Venture, and Tony Meow McGowan. And today we're talking baseball. Baseball season's back. Who's excited? Raise your hand. Not too many other people though are, I feel like, because baseball
is boring.
Is long. And we all love baseball, but I think we need to find a way, or a lot of people feel like there needs to be another way, to make the game shorter. A record 3 hours and 5 minutes per game last year. Chris, how do you make the games shorter?
I don't think anything that's being proposed right now is really. I don't think it needs to be shorter necessarily. Baseball's baseball. You know, there's no clock. It's the way it's got to go. There is one rule I like, but which we'll get to. But I just think there needs.
You don't think it needs to be shorter?
I don't think it needs to be shortened necessarily. I think it needs more personality. I think it needs more flair. It doesn't have that. Oh, yeah. Basketball has that. Actually, football games are actually longer than baseball games. If you think about it, when in between play, actual action live game, football is much longer. So. I'm saying I think there needs to be something to bring out the personality. Somebody, like, I don't know what it's got to be. I don't have an idea for it yet. I've been thinking about it, but something to make it just more exciting in general.
There's more dead time in baseball than any other sport, right? You have dead time in between every single pitch.
There's more dead time in football, really.
But
technically,
there's there's replays. Like,
right.
Each pitch is not the most important play of the game. Every play in football is extremely important, right? So. I mean, I'm going to ask you, Tony, Chris says he's not sure if it needs to be shortened. Do you think the games are too long, 3 hours and 5 minutes?
Far too short. Far too short of a game.
You want them longer.
I wanted 7 hours, and I want halftime shows.
Well, we're headed there,
fanfare.
We're not far from 7 hours. The games keep getting longer.
Honestly, in all seriousness, it's probably got a lot to do with advertising and how much commercial time. It went from 30 seconds to 2 minutes in 10 years ago. Like the average commercial.
In a lot of circumstances, when they first broadcasted games, they were not leaving on break. The camera would just stay on the field, and they would not leave it.
Think about a football game, right? Live action is 8 minutes of a game that actually is played, and yet the whole game is drawn out.
It's not a lot of action. You're correct.
Not a lot of action, but the game lasts 3 hours.
There's replays,
you gotta fill replays, but you got to fill in for
11 minutes of action or something. It's crazy. Yeah.
So it's the same thing with baseball, right?
Well, maybe if you're talking about advertisements,
they're upping advertisements. It's a way to pay for. I'm sure franchises are using advertising money to pay for players.
Well, we saw the NFL do a
TV
couple
rights,
things.
that's how they're getting it, yeah.
Sure.
This year, the NFL did a couple things with the advertisements during the game in the corners. Yeah. That was the first time they did that. You saw that during the year?
I not only saw it, but
in between plays?
Yes, I saw it.
Before this year, I absolutely thought that's what the MLB should be doing in between innings.
I think they got to head in that direction.
They should absolutely keep the game on. Very limited warm-up in between innings, which they are actually heading towards.
And to add to that, though, like in between those innings, while they're showing that advertisement on the bottom, like you could actually do certain things, like I said, to add flair to it in between innings. Like instead of them just running on the field to go play their position.
But
I don't know.
But how much of a baseball audience is actually live?
What do you think?
Not cartwheels, but have somebody there. Like, you know how they always interview the coach? They think that's exciting, like in between.
That's not exciting.
Exactly. Think of a better idea
but that's
to
also
make that
for
exciting.
The home audience, not for the live audience.
No, it's much more for the home audience.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you're
We're
saying?
not talking about live audience is a totally different animal.
They don't really care.
It's
actually it's noted. And there's a lot of proof behind that audiences at the games are happy at the games.
Yes.
The 100%. Games don't drag on too long for them.
I mean, baseball is one of the premier sports of being boring
when
to
you
watch
go to
at home, but when you're at the game, it's like the most fun.
You're drinking.
You're asleep in the seventh inning.
This argument's purely about the viewers at home, which is most of the people.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, let's get back, because whether or not, it seems like you guys are into it being long, but there's a large contingency that does not think that the games are short enough. So for those people and for baseball to survive, that's probably they're going to have to shorten the games a little bit. How can they do it, Donnie? How can they do it?
Well, I was thinking actually to just have have a break after every inning instead of in between every inning also. That'll cut some time out. So in other words, you're going to play the whole first inning, really rush in between the inning, just get them on, get them off, no warm-ups, anything like that.
Pitchers can't warm up.
Well, they warm up before the game actually is televised.
So those pitches do not make that much of a difference.
So what if they're up after a long inning? It's a 45-minute inning. The guy hasn't thrown a pitch.
Don't care. But no, because that's a level playing field.
Because
It would
they're
be
up
the
a lot
same
of
thing.
runs, probably.
Then people are going to
No,
get hurt.
my point is it's a level playing field because every team's going to have the same rules going forward.
All right.
Like, you'll also have a game where your team's up by a lot, and then you'll have a longer break.
I think a huge part of it is, and you get into it, it's all about the pitching, right? Yeah. And the number one thing is the
Slow pitches.
bullpen usage now,
Yeah, it's terrible.
right? You saw with Joe Girardi, goodbye to you. I am not unhappy that you're gone with the pitching changes, 3 pitching changes per inning. I think you want to shorten games, you're allowed 1 pitching change per inning. I know it'll change all the statistics. Everybody's doing the sabermetric, all this stuff. I don't care. You want
One
to make
pitch
this game
what?
inch-
Wait, what is
you're
it?
allowed to make 1 pitching change per inning.
Well, now they're trying to do this thing where it's you can only visit the mound 6 times.
Yeah, and you know what
Yeah,
who said it? Somebody said, "Oh, Wilson Contreras says, yeah, I'm not gonna
not
follow
to follow that rule."
That's the problem. They say 30 seconds between pitches. Do they stick to it? No.
No.
People
No.
do it. Umpires.
That's
don't
why you
enforce
can't
it.
control this. It's baseball.
I mean,
you know what I'm
You
saying?
can control it if you change the structure of it.
I'm gonna go even-
Because they'll
Because they'll just pay the fine and do it
Yeah.
anyway.
Sure.
And I'm even going to go one further than what you proposed. I'm going to say that you should only be able to do 3 pitching changes for an entire game in the regular
I'm
season.
fine with that.
Which means that, one, you're resting guys. You're actually only going to go with a stock of certain guys for given games. And then the fans aren't going to care anyway because most of them don't know who, like, several of their relief pitchers are anyway. Like your long middle relief guys, you'll use 1.
See, that's what it comes down to. No matter what you do, I don't care if you shorten the game by an extra hour, dude. People are still going to watch it because the game itself, inning by inning, is just a slower paced game than every other sport. You have to be a diehard fan or an old school fan. The demographic for baseball is like probably 35 to 50. You know what I mean? The millennials are what's killing the market is because they can't
Low
watch
attention
something.
span.
They have a low attention span. They can't stay on it for long enough. They love the fast
Do you
paced
think
stuff.
then you need more like integrated digital media
How-
during the show so that it's more like fans can do something?
But
while
what
watching
more
the
can
game?
you
That's
do?
what I'm saying. There's something you got to do. And here's the other thing. You know what? How
Like
bad is baseball
surveys
doing?
are good.
How bad is baseball really doing? Is it doing really that bad?
No, it's not doing badly at all.
No.
Okay, so then who cares about what the millennials think? And keep it going the way it is. It's baseball. It hasn't changed for 1,000
no,
years.
That's very important because
Well, there's
that's
only
going
gonna be more
to
of them
trail
and less of us.
downward.
That's the-
Yeah,
or
it's
less,
going
you
to
know.
trail.
Yeah, we're going to die out.
Attendance is still good, but the sport in terms of where other sports are growing, MLB is not growing
Well,
at the same rate.
Well, it's
But
going
here's the other thing, right? Like, so I know you're not thinking about live audiences too much, but how we live in New York, going to a Yankee game is to get a decent seat's over $200.
Yeah, it's
Are you
expensive.
going to do that for a 2-hour game?
No, I certainly would.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Like
think,
a-
I
like
think
a
if it's
2-hour
if it's a high quality game
Yeah.
and I'm not
If it's
going
moving that fast?
I'll be thrilled if the games are half an hour or 20 minutes shorter because they're only doing 1 pitching change or they're making changes. I have a pretty good
Sure.
attention span, but I am tired of seeing 3 or 4 pitchers in an inning and seeing a commercial after one batter after another batter.
It is frustrating.
Right.
It is frustrating.
It's not the way it used to be. It's
Right.
a little bit overkill, and I think that they have to step in and do something. I don't know.
And by the way, to answer your question, going to the game, I'd be much more enthused to go to a game if I know it's going to be shorter. A lot of the games you're going to for your team, I go to a fair amount of Mets games a year. If you're going to a 7:00 game, you're damn right you want to be out of there at 9 instead of 10.
Traffic, well, that's a whole other
try to be out
story.
there at 9,
Alone, you know.
especially on a weeknight
But
at
this is
7,
about
yeah.
the TV right now. You know
No,
what I'm
I
saying?
understand, but that was to answer his
Yeah.
question.
I want to
right?
ask Chris because I know that they're instituted in the minor leagues this extra inning.
Yeah, I
rule.
like this rule. This is the one rule
So
I do
talk
like.
about the rule then.
So this rule, like that, it was brought up by the WBC, implemented it. I think it started in like the 11th inning. If the 11th inning comes around, they automatically put runners at first and second. And I think it's like the last 2 guys in the batting order before the leadoff hitter or something like that. That's how it works. So it's just setting something up so it could score a run quicker. You know what I mean? Which I kind of like though, because some of these extra inning games, sometimes if you notice, a lot of these games that go even into extra innings, they end up going a lot longer than just the 10th or the 11th inning. They end up going to the 15th, the 16th. They go very long because sometimes it takes a while to score runs. So I think that's not a bad idea because it's extra innings. How often are people really going to extra innings throughout the whole season?
Now-
Not that much where it's really going to affect play that much. I like that rule.
Thoughts on that?
Now, I
Don?
do have to ask you, I don't like the rule. I'm not crazy against it, like, oh, it's terrible.
Right,
I just
a lot
don't
of people
like it.
are, but-
I just don't like it because it's actually not fair. You're actually penalizing pitchers for pitching well. That's what you're doing. You're putting guys on to now where a bunt and an out can bring in
You're
a
not
run.
really penalizing
Yes, you
them.
are. You're penalizing. You're putting guys on when you have a team that's pitching well.
Well, you could skew the stats. You could just make it where if he does give up, those 2 runners that are on base, they don't count as runs for him.
I don't mean it for the player's stats.
Oh.
I mean you're penalizing a team when they're pitching well in a given game.
Oh, but no, the other team gets a fair opportunity to do it as well. The away team and the home team get a chance.
So all right, so you
get equal opportunity.
There's a bunt and a ground out, and you got a run in.
Yeah.
The problem is this doesn't exist in baseball. This situation that you're creating,
Which is coming though.
It's just a creation to speed up. It's like, let's get this game over.
Because
Tony, is that a good idea?
But it's extra innings.
Is that a good idea? Do you want to see the game over? Do you want to see an 18-inning
Like
game?
Imagine seeing a guy on first and second automatically.
I'm
right
so frugal that if I'm going to the game and I spend however much I did, I want to.
So you just want to stay at the ballpark?
I'm so
all
cheap.
day until they kick you
I
out.
paid for this.
Fair enough.
No, but at home I'm like, I want this to move.
Of course,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Now, because the demographic, like we said, they're all the guys and everything. That's the thing. You're going to get a lot of pushback from the older demographic because they love baseball the way it is. Wynn's father, my father, they would hate that. You know what I'm saying? They like baseball the way it is, and they love that it's long. They don't care. They watch the whole game every night. It's incredible.
It's a lot like the hockey overtime rules now. Now it's 3-on-3. It was 4-on-4. Now it's 3-on-3.
I like that.
But
That was a good rule.
The problem is baseball is supposed to be this pure sport.
Right.
The feet,
Doesn't
90
change.
feet. Right? It's just nothing changes. It's supposed to be like since its inception, it's such a perfect game.
Right.
To just do that, you can't do that.
You're putting a clock on it.
They're basically trying to cater to them, like we said, the millennials and stuff.
You gotta find another
I don't
way.
think, I don't think you could cater it by changing the game for them. You know what I'm saying? Do other things. Like, make it more, like, how, like, people are going to watch LeBron play. Obviously, he's the best player, but, like, people want, because he does antics. Certain people do antics on these teams. People throwing soup in people's faces. You know what I mean? Like, there's just crazy stuff going on.
That was not intended.
I know, but you know what I mean? It has personality.
So your comparable players, though, are Mike Trout and Clayton Kershaw. Neither of them have a good personality.
They're very good guys, like,
they're very
plain guys.
vanilla. Not even good
Well, Bryce
guys,
Harper's got personality.
He does.
There you go. So you need that more
guy,
in the forefront.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, you do.
And he's also one of the best players. I should have mentioned him as well.
Yes, he's one of the best players. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like NBA has characters
Like
all over the
Griffey.
place.
Yeah,
You know what I
but
mean?
Griffey was a big time character, like a lot of personality, and he was just
Why
great.
do you think the NFL brought back celebrations?
Right. But
This is the reason why, because personality's missing.
Well,
personality's
we
missing.
can never compare the two though, because the NFL is always going to be 16 games a year, which is why people are so hyped.
But NFL, here's another thing. Baseball's going to be fine because 10, 15, 20 years from now, baseball's still going to be around, and football's going to be flag football, and that's going to go to absolute crap, and then it's going to die out, and the NBA is just going to be like a mess, a disaster in 10, 20 years.
It already is, yeah.
Exactly. It's already a disaster.
We shall see. But anyway, I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot of things the MLB tries to try to get some more interest in the game, and it should be interesting. So for the crew, Tony meowing, Chris the analyst Ventura, DB, I'm Boo. We'll see you next week for another edition of Brooklyn Versus. Peace out.
Go Bridgeside.
Yeah, that was a good one. He got up. Try to get this going.